It's a great night for baseball here in Cincinnati after a rainy night a night ago. Beautiful evening in store here at Great American Ballpark as the Reds play host to the Pirates. And welcome into the booth. Joe Block along with Bob Walk here with you tonight. And here in this affair, we're looking for Juan Nicasio to get the nod. He was scheduled to go yesterday, and he'll go against this Reds team that he did pretty well against the last time he faced them.
He certainly did. Had very good command of the baseball when he saw these guys last. And when he's throwing the ball where he wants to, as you're going to see here in the highlights, it's just a mixture of fastballs at the belt, upstairs a little bit that they just can't make contact with. And then he goes to that very hard breaking ball of his, and you see everybody just swinging right over the top of it. He just has a tremendous arm and great stuff. All that really matters when you see him go out there is he putting the ball where he wants to. If that is yes, he pitches a good game.
And he's had success against these Reds. 11 consecutive scoreless innings dating back to his time with the Dodgers as a reliever, and one former reliever now in the starting rotation for the Reds is Alfredo Simon. He will get the start tonight.
Off to a slow start this year. Really kind of had some arm problems a little bit, but in his last start he looked like his old self. He threw the ball over the plate. He also has a pretty good power arm. We saw some great fastballs in PNC Park versus the Pirates.
And a late signee too, and so kind of spring training for him in April as he rebuilt his arm strength. He'll go tonight, and weather-wise looking great. And with the bats, Starling Marte's been shining brightly. Yes, indeed. 4 straight multi-hit games. And we have this one coming up next here on Root Sports. Pirates trying to earn a split here in this abbreviated 2-game series. And take a look at our Barrel League leaders. And for Starling Marte, he is among them in so many different ways.
Having an absolutely great start to his season, but you know, there's no time better than the present to start work on things you're not good at. Obviously he needs more hits. He's only 6th in average, 341. Need to work on that tonight.
Yeah, base running, defense with the outfield assists, infield hits showing the speed. Great all-around game for Starling Marte. And this is your leadoff man for the Pirates tonight, the first baseman, David Freese.
Well, David Freese has really gotten off to a good, solid start with that on-base percentage. It's actually a little bit better than Jesus, and we've been talking all year about how Jaso does such a great job with the on-base percentage. So now you're putting somebody else up there to, give Jaso the night off, and almost kind of the same type player. Not a lot of speed, but gets on base a lot, and hopefully he'll be picking it over there at first too. Should be able to do that with no problem at all.
And looking forward to this. And let's go back to our studios. And Dan Potash has a game break. Cincinnati, and the Pirates are trying to earn a split after the Reds won the opener back on Monday. David Freese will lead things off. Second time in his career that he's the leadoff man. It's 79 beautiful degrees here tonight. A little bit muggy even down on the field before the game.
Definitely a little change since the first night we were in town. Simon's numbers on the year, nothing at this point is going to look very good. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to be able to look at that stat sheet with a straight face. That's going to be ugly for a while. Off to just a horrible start, but He took a step in the right direction, a big step in the right direction in his last outing.
Ahead 1-2. And Billy Hamilton will record the game's first out. Here's the rest of our RAV4 lineup for the Pirates tonight. And David Freese atop that order. His second career start at first base as well. McCutchen, Polanco, Marte, Cervelli, Jung Ho Kang in the lineup again tonight. Sean Rodriguez gets the start at second base. He's hit an 8 straight as a starter. Mercer and then Nicasio. Andrew McCutchen working on a 5-game hitting streak. That average crawling back up. It's 248 now. Seems like every May it shakes off those April doldrums and gets right back to being himself.
It'll be close to 300 by the time the All-Star break comes around.
Maybe even by Memorial Day if he can get hot. McCutchen still leads the club with 6 home runs. Hasn't seen a strike. And both the starting pitchers, both Simon and the Pirates starter Juan Nicasio, scheduled to go yesterday, but game postponed because of rain. So each one getting an extra day of rest. And McCutchen draws a 4-pitch walk here with 1 out.
Take a look at our Rivers Casino tips to win. Simon says throw a lot of pitches. Let's get Simon's pitch count way up there. Get into that bullpen, which is the worst in baseball. And Simon says we need 2 long balls to win here. Like Colorado, you got to have home runs. Team that hits most home runs usually comes away with a W. Strike out. Well, Simon didn't say strike out. We're not going to be doing any of that.
Oh, Bob, that's pretty clever.
We have a clever crew down in that truck.
Here's Gregory Polanco. Simon says strike 1.
Those guys get here at noon for a reason, you know, every day. They figure that stuff out.
I didn't know you had a team of writers. I'm learning so much. Polanco off to that good start. 284. Talking about on base percentage too. Looking at the lineup today, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 hitters with a 380 plus on base percentage in there today for the Pirates among regular players. Rodriguez would be on that too. Didn't even count him. But you're right with the home run ball. I think you know, we saw in game 1 of this series on Monday, you know, the Reds hit 3 solo home runs, which combined with what, the second row, first row.
Yeah, and normally you're not too concerned about that, but it was one of those games where
Brandon Phillips throws it over to Jordan Pacheco, playing at first base tonight.
One of those games for whatever reason we couldn't get the offense going, and so that ended up making the difference in the ball game. But normally you do have to hit some home runs here to win this ball game.
Yeah, there's Pacheco over at first. Joey Votto getting a routine day off. Duvall, Hamilton, and Bruce in the outfield from left to right. And Suarez, Cozart, Phillips joining Pacheco, with Tucker Barnhart doing most of the catching. Devin Mesoraco out for the season. Joey Votto getting the day off yesterday because of the rain out. A scheduled day off, his first day off of the season tonight. The Reds have a scheduled day off tomorrow, so you get him basically an all-star break in the middle of the year. That's what Brian Price said today. Here's Starling Marte. He's been sterling, especially lately, at 341. 4 straight multi-hit games. He's got McCutchen at second with 2 outs. And underneath it.
Just missed it. That was a hanger.
And Duvall brings it in. So the 1-out walk left stranded. And the Reds coming to bat here in the first inning. And the Reds coming to bat here in the bottom of the first inning. No score here from Great American Ballpark. Look at the lineup for the homestanding Redlegs. And Zach Cozart at 340. Then Billy Hamilton, who has done well against the Pirates. He has almost as many hits against the Pirates as everybody else in baseball. Phillips, Bruce, Suarez. No Joey Votto tonight again. Duval Pacheco in over at first. Barnhart does the catching. Alfredo Simon on the mound against Juan Nicasio.
Take a look at Nicasio's numbers, brought to you by Hyundai. The 6 ball games. The ERA took a little bit of a jump between his last start and this one. Up over 4 now.
Cozart at 340. Led off the ball game with a home run on Monday in the first game of this series. John Neese giving up 3 solo home runs. That's what he's done. He's given up 10 this year, but 9 are solo home runs. None have gone particularly very far. Gong gets the first out.
Freeze showing a little footwork over around first base. Goes off the backside of the bag.
He's used to being where Gong is. He's had 21 career innings over at first base, but none in the last 5 years. But he worked extensively during spring training and has continued to take ground balls over there prior to games to be familiar.
He can do it.
Billy Hamilton at 235. Always has hit well against the Pirates. And Cervelli threw him out in a terrific play. He and Jordy Mercer in the 8th inning of that game, which probably ended up saving a run the way that inning unfolded afterward. One of the best executed from the catcher to the man covering, in this case Mercer, steal attempts that you'll see. It's outside 3-1. I said, Cervelli, how do you practice that? He said, I just get up and throw. You don't have time. That one's hit just fair, and that's going to be a heap of trouble for the speedy Hamilton. This might be 3. Yep. He's going for 3. You better get that ball in. He took a big turn around third. That's a 1-out triple for Billy Hamilton.
Boy, the fans here love it when he gets out there on the bases. Everybody, they're excited as if somebody just hit a home run.
I think it's the most exciting play in baseball, the triple. Especially when you got that guy.
Well, the excitement wasn't was he going to get 3 or not. It was can they stop him before he scores.
Billy Hatcher almost had to get in his way, slow him down. First triple for Hamilton, and his hot hitting against the Pirates continues.
Yeah, he really isn't much of a left-hand hitter, but you wouldn't know it after that last swing.
Infield in. Brandon Phillips batting with 1 out, no score. And that one will be deep enough. Hamilton able to get in, and the Reds open with a 1-0 lead.
Well, that's a perfect example. I can't think of one better than why you hate to have to bring your infield in. I mean, that is such an easy out, little pop fly on the edge of the grass if your infield is where they normally are.
First inning, kind of a coin flip whether you do it or not, right?
Yeah. You know, with nobody out, you never do it. But with 1 out, I would say probably 70% of the time, managers will bring the infield in.
Now the shift on for Jay Bruce, batting cleanup tonight.
I'm sure that there's somewhere somebody has done the research and there's a number on it that where you're supposed to play your infield with runner at third, 1 out.
If there's a number, the Pirates have it.
And should the infield be on the grass or playing back normal depth?
I would say that the odds would favor playing in because it seems like the Pirates always have those metrics. Who's going to get there? Mercer.
See, here's the thing, though, that you have to think about, too. It's like, you know, who's hitting at the plate? Who might be coming up next? Who do you have pitching on the mound? What ballpark are you going to be in? Is it going to be a high-scoring game, low-scoring game? There's all kind of things you got to mix in along with that percentage number.
Oh, sure.
And that's the art of making those decisions down there in the field.
So for those who believe in just looking at raw numbers, they almost never tell the whole story.
As a pitcher, I used to think to myself too, like, okay, how bad do I want to try and stop that run from scoring? If the manager's playing the infield back, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try and get the out. If the guy's still standing there after I get the out, fine. If he scores, okay. But now, if the manager brings the infield in, now that changes a little bit the way I think about pitching a guy.
And you have a strikeout pitcher on the mound.
Mm-hmm.
So a guy that can get that swing and miss.
Yes. I always thought, well, if the manager thinks it's important to stop that run, maybe I should see if I can't go for one of my rare strikeouts here. And if it was the opposing pitcher, I got a good shot at getting him. That's the real reason I don't like the DH, by the way.
Oh, is it now you reveal it?
2/3 of my strikeouts are pitchers.
This is Eugenio Suarez. Reds start with a 1-0 lead on that triple hit right down the first base line by Hamilton, scoring on a Phillips blue pit over the drawn in infield. Very good move.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a slowish tag.
Freeze has not been over there in a long time.
You know, being a right-handed too, you're such a disadvantage when you're trying to get that tag down.
There's an art to tagging. I was talking with Jordy Mercer about it yesterday, about his tag throwing out when Cervelli threw onto him to throw out Billy Hamilton, and he said he gets into a position right by the bag where he can go straight down with his glove, and he's right in the right spot to tag the hand of the guy sliding in. So I mean, there is an art to tagging.
I think it's changed with the replay. I think what you
Oh,
have
good
to do
point.
as an infielder putting tags down, or even as a catcher, you have to be a little different now than it used to be. I can remember when I was a youngster in the minor leagues first coming up, listening to the coaches tell the infielders and stuff about tagging. Close play, they wanted the glove just in and out.
The pitch. Now 3-2.
You know, just in and out. Don't just get the glove, put it down, and get it out of there on a close play. Even if you didn't touch him, the umpire's going to bang the guy out. The main thing is get the glove down as fast as you can, and then just go ahead and get it out of there to make it look like the guy's out by a mile. And if the guy was out by a mile, I can remember saying, you go ahead and lay it on him for a while. Apply the tag early and let it ride on him a little while before you take it off. But I think that all those rules have changed now with the advent of the instant replay, because the super slow-mo sees everything.
Phillips moving on the 3-2.
You go down with a real quick tag and you move that glove maybe just a fraction of a second, just an inch before his hand hits your glove, and you pull it out of there, and then his hand goes on and hits the base, they're going to catch that, and they're going to say, no, be safe. And that would have never gone before.
Nowadays too, the neighborhood play has been removed this year.
And I think it's also important, even though a guy is safe, to leave the glove on him and let it ride on him all the way through to the bag. If he comes off just for a microsecond to change feet or go from a foot to a hand or something on the bag, if he does that and your glove's on him, you can ask for him to look at it and you got an out. So I agree with you 100%. It's an art, probably more now than ever before. So important to know what you're doing out there with that glove.
Now look at how he's set up. He's set up right to the side of the bag, and he goes straight down with the glove. And if he takes a longer swipe, Hamilton's safe.
Yeah, if you catch the ball out in front of the base, you know, toward home plate, now you have to bring it back to make a tag. And nobody has such quick hands that they can do that faster than the ball just travels on its own from the catcher. I mean, that's literally, I don't know, like hundredths of a second that the ball traveling to your glove. So let the ball travel as far as it can, and then just like Jordy says, go straight down with it then. Don't catch it out toward the mound and have to bring it back.
Right.
That's a big no-no.
He said he doesn't straddle the bag either because of that. Let's see the 9th pitch of this at bat. Phillips is getting tired of running. That's the 4th time in a row he's been going. Suarez making Ocasio work here. This will be a 10-pitch at bat coming up. Trying to get him to chase in the last one.
He has been all over the place on him.
Pops it up. And Rodriguez retires it. Reds get a run.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network, Health for All, and by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Through an inning and the Reds own a 1-0 lead. Billy Hamilton scoring after his triple. Brandon Phillips bringing him home. And David Freese has got an inning under his belt at first base. Nicasio 20-pitch inning even after that 10-pitch at bat to Suarez.
There's serious luck, doesn't he?
Cervelli coming in close to 300. That on base over 400. Juan trying to think about the next inning. So Cervelli kind of acting as a second leadoff hitter. That's what's been so nice about this Pirates lineup, is that, you know, it doesn't really matter who bats first in the order, because almost anywhere you want to pick 1 through 8, someone's going to be a leadoff hitter every inning, obviously, and unless you have the pitcher coming up, and those guys.
Well, then the pitcher's leadoff hitter.
Right, but he doesn't have a good on base percentage.
Liriano does.
Other than Liriano,
yeah,
okay, that's fair.
What is Liriano's anyway? You got it right here in front of you. I was curious.
294.
Not horrible.
Not preferred. But that's what I'm saying is, you know, any inning comes up and all right, you got Cervelli, Gung, and Rodriguez. You go, okay, all right. You get, you know,
there is no bad inning.
Who do you want to, you know, which guys do you want to pick? Cozart. A couple of room service hops, but Pacheco has to take him out.
For a long time there, it was Jay Hay and Polanco really at the bottom part of the lineup, leading the team in RBIs.
Yeah.
When the season started. So you're right. There was no like top or bottom or anything.
It's kind of recycles.
It was just the lineup. You truly could pick them out of a hat.
Clint Hurdle says he likes the group the way it is right now. Young batting 6th as he works his way back to full strength. Getting that timing down at the plate. Already a good start. And that's why David Freese spelling John Jaso tonight, batting in the leadoff spot, and Rodriguez batting in the 7th spot. Just kind of keep the guys where they've been. Might have went. Yep. Mark Wegner. And Duvall right there for the second out. Kids, you won't want to miss the chance to be the Moe's Pirate Parrot sidekick before a Pirates home game. Fans ages 6 to 14 can join the Parrot in pregame festivities on the field at PNC Park. You can enter for your chance to be the Parrot sidekick at participating Moe's Southwest Grill locations by tomorrow. Sean Rodriguez in there at second base. Just giving Josh Harrison a day off. 341. Rodriguez has hit in 8 straight games when he has started.
Yeah, you look at it this way, the bottom part of the lineup today, 7 and 8, have 2 of the longest home runs in the Major League Baseball this year.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, what was it?
The power is.
Yeah. Yeah. Before it was Polanco and Harrison, Mercer, run producers. Branson's got to be happy.
And Chris Walsh came in before the game asking us about the Mercer home run. And how far it was hit in Arizona.
How far it was estimated to have traveled?
460 something. I guess it's now, at the time it was the furthest. Now I think it's third.
Stanton got a hold of one. That's inevitable.
I estimated that he had eventually hit a long one.
Simon's 1-2. He's got himself a couple of quick innings. And the Reds coming to bat leading 1-0. Pittsburgh area of West Virginia. Thanks for watching and rooting on your Pittsburgh Pirates. All of us at Root Sports and the Pirates appreciate your support. Appreciate your support too, sir. Thanks for being here on the UPMC scoreboard. Pirates trail at 1-0. Right into the shift. One pitch, one out.
Good job by Nicasio letting that one go. I could see him taking a stab at it and then just knocking it off to the side. Get nobody out. I mean, you know that guy's standing right behind you. Just get out of the way, let it go.
But as a pitcher these days, you got to know where the guys are more than ever, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, it varies almost every hitter.
Well, most of the time there's somebody right behind you.
Here's the Reds' first baseman today, Jordan Pacheco. Joey Votto getting the day off, first day off for him this year. Good thing the Pirates getting out of town with Votto hitting at .234 and getting all this time off. Yeah. We bought tickets. We came to see Joey Votto. I've been in that boat before. Go to a ball game and want to see the star. Nicasio with his first strikeout. First time I ever got an airplane. Went out west, visited my buddy who was living in California. Went to a Padres game. Can't wait to see Tony Gwynn visit before interleague play. No Tony Gwynn that day. When does Tony Gwynn not play?
Yeah. Not that I could ever remember.
And a very quick inning for Nicasio. 5 pitches. He's at 25 through 2 innings, and the Reds lead 1-0.
Here at Great American Ballpark, I'm Robbie Smikowski. Today is Wednesday, but yesterday was Twitter Tuesday. We were rained out, and Matt Joyce was our guest, so we'll bring you one of the questions, and it came from Zane, who asked Matt, what is your favorite memory in the majors?
My first at bat in front of my dad in the big leagues, I ended up hitting a home run. And, you know, just one of those really cool, memorable moments. You come around and you touch all the bases, and you kind of look up, you see your pops just smiling from ear to ear, and you know, it's something that, for me, you know, I'll never forget.
A lot of people that follow baseball, Joe and Bob, might not remember that Matt Joyce came up a Detroit Tiger, and it was a game at Comerica Park against Darryl Rasner and the New York Yankees, his finest moment in the big leagues. And that's saying something. This guy was an all-star 5 years ago, back in 2011 with the Rays.
That's a cool story, and I'm glad we brought Twitter Tuesday to Wednesday. It's one of my favorite parts of the broadcast each week. Get to know the guys a little bit. Let's rev up the Wayback Machine. There's that familiar left-handed swing.
Abreu had it there for a moment.
Yeah. Lost it in the lights. I wonder if he sold Joyce on that too. You know, Joyce probably
probably ruined his home run trot.
Yeah, I thought I really hit that well. I guess I better get going.
It's not like it's a short porch out there either where he hit that ball.
Ozart's going to get Mercer to lead off.
That's a long
Pirates third.
Long poke in Detroit.
Trying to think, is that before they moved the bullpens? I don't think it was. I think it was after.
Right center, right?
Oh, still, yeah, that's still,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's still deep.
Way out there.
Used to be even deeper when they opened it. Juan Nicasio, a 118 career hitter.
You think he'll hit a home run this year? I think he might.
Juan?
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to vote against anybody. You never know what can happen. Why do you say that? You like something that he's doing?
He's big and strong, and when he's up there at the plate, you know, I mean, he looks like he's got, I want to, you know, he's not giving away the at bat, just thinking, okay, I can't hit, and standing there. Some guys do that. And, you know, I think that, you know, watching Liriano, well, he is hitting, and, you know, hanging out with him a little bit, I think it'll rub off on him. I wouldn't be surprised, because he is big and strong. Just got to be the right pitch in the right spot that hits his bat. In the right ballpark. And this is definitely the right ballpark.
Liriano has done it. Off the end of the bat and underneath it for the second out. Pirates thank our active and retired military with a military discount brought to you by IC Light, and ticket discounts available for Sunday through Friday games. Military members and their families save up to $10 on tickets. You can find out more at pirates.com/military.
You know, and next time, if you ever think that now this guy won't be able to hit a home run, I got two words for you. The two words are Bartolo Colon.
That's
Anybody
about,
can hit one.
yeah, that's about right. 42 years young.
Oldest ever to hit his first home run in the major leagues.
They timed his home run trot with a sundial. It's a fact.
And he was going as hard as he could.
Brings a lot of joy to see him still play the game. Everyone likes to watch him bat. Cover first, things like that. Could be trouble. Simon makes a nice play. And save for a walk to McCutchen. Simon's been perfect. Start the bottom of the third.
It's like a race series.
Here's tonight's Allegheny Health Network injury update. And Reds catcher Devin Mesoraco underwent surgery yesterday on his left shoulder to repair a tear in his labrum. And during that procedure, surgeons found that the damage more severe than expected. So the rehab timetable more like 6 months instead of 4. And that will almost certainly end his season. The Punxsutawney native. So we'll see a lot of Tucker Barnhart behind the plate for the Reds. And Dick Williams, the general manager, Walt Jocketty. Simon behind a couple of strikes. Now 2-2. Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, working the plate tonight. Well, after needing just 5 pitches to get through the entire second inning, Nicasio's needed 5 pitches so far and has yet to retire Simon.
Yeah, you hate to have these bats like this with the other pitcher up there. You want to get him out of there as soon as you can.
And that's strikeout number 2.
It's okay as long as you use him to get your strikeout total up. Then you can throw a couple extra pitches to him.
Leadoff man put away on Nicasio. About a triple to Hamilton right down the first base line, and then Phillips a little bloop over the drawn in infield plated him. Those are the only 2 base runners against him. He's filling up the strike zone tonight too.
Oh yes, he is. Fastballs, sliders, doesn't matter. He's going right at him.
9 balls, 24 strikes.
The 0-2 pitch and up and in spot there. Keep everybody loose.
Nice play. Can he make the throw? Yes.
Look at that footwork. High freeze.
That's a tough play right there if you're not used to it. Switching feet on the bag.
Yeah, second time he's had to go off the backside and able to switch feet. Looks like he's very natural over there at that.
Good play on both ends.
Yep.
Nicasio's got Billy Hamilton. He almost shoots one down the left side. And triple just grounded right up that first base line, and with Freese playing off the line at that time, just enough to.
So you don't expect Hamilton to pull them.
Yeah,
bit batting left-handed. His main deal is just slap the ball toward left field, especially off a hard thrower. But he crossed everybody up.
Hamilton has as many hits against the Pirates this year as he does against the rest of baseball. 10. Right to McCutchen, and that ends the frame. 8 in a row sent down by Juan Nicasio.
Drive RAV Hybrid has performance that will make you rethink hybrid. Let's go Bucks!
Fourth inning on its way, and the Reds have a 1-0 lead. Maybe you'll get your birthday wish. Let your friends know you're at the game. A lot of Pirates fans down here. A lot of folks coming down. Don't even have to cross state lines to get here. Andrew McCutchen, the lone base runner through the first 3 innings against Simon.
What'd you say about state lines, son?
A lot of Pirate fans that don't even have to leave the state to come here to the game tonight.
Oh, because they
live in Ohio.
Live in Steubenville. That's right. It's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That's why I had to ask. Wasn't sure.
This one driven to right.
Yeah,
and this one is out of here. There it goes. A home run for Andrew McCutchen.
Joel told me before the game McCutchen was going to hit at least one tonight.
Line drive shot, his team leading 7th, and the Pirates knotted at 1.
That was a bullet. Right down the middle, elevated a little bit. Certainly in the middle of the plate, though.
Seventh home run allowed by Simon. Pirates' first hit, a big one.
Well, we need one more. I think I said I wanted 2.
Bat stayed in the zone a long time. That's nice.
It's called slow motion, Joe.
So it'll get into the seats. So
watch how long this ball. Look at the ball. He didn't have much on it. He wasn't throwing it that hard.
That's our Allegheny Health Network Supermo.
Looked like it just hung there for him.
But now look how fast it got out, Bob.
Yeah, good exit velocity. Good. What do you call that? Angle of attack or something? Or what is that? Angle of what? Departure?
Well, he was really
angle.
aggressive to the ball with his swing.
He had a good departure angle on that ball.
The hypotenuse was obtuse. I don't know what I'm saying right now.
You've lost me now.
I've lost myself. McCutchen hit a home run. That's what I know.
all these stats that we have nowadays, it gets lost.
Well, we need at least one more now. Hopefully the next one will be with 1 or 2 men aboard.
Polanco has done that this week. Back on Sunday. On looking for the first out here. Yeah, hit that 3-run home run against the Cardinals on Sunday, right down the left field line.
Looked low, but the strike zone says nope. It was there. You saw it light up. I've got a few emails over the years of people asking me about the strike zone and why doesn't it adjust for the different players and where their knees are. Obviously Polanco's much taller than somebody that's shorter. Well, it does adjust. The computer has everybody's size in there, and so when whoever's running it puts in the player's name, the computer adjusts the height of that strike zone so that it takes in account for somebody who's like Polanco, whose knees way off the ground, as opposed to
Altuve is, you know,
yeah,
5'6",
exactly.
and Nate Fryman is 6'7".
I mean, between those two guys, there's probably that much difference between a low strike. Well, the computer does take that into consideration. The graphic looks the same on the screen, but inside the where all the magic goes on inside the computer, it's all accounted for. That's what I'm told anyway.
Marte flies out for the second out. Andrew McCutchen, a leadoff home run.
All the bits and bytes and all where all that stuff is. Where all the calculations are
Bits
made.
and bits and bytes. That's pretty much the crux of it.
Sounds like a candy bar. Bits and bytes.
Your entrepreneurial spirit never goes away, does it?
No, not tonight. Huh? Thinking about a lot of new inventions and stuff.
Well, get the blueprints drawn up between innings. How about that? Simon, one of the rare times he's been behind. Walked McCutchen before the home run that he hit. Josh Harrison getting the night off tonight. Now 3-0. Maybe you get your chance here, Walkie, with if Cervelli can get aboard. Get that other home run you're asking for tonight with a man aboard. Jung Ho Gung would be next. And a tough way to draw a ball forward.
The 3-0 pitch too. 3-0, you're kind of relaxed. You know, you're just kind of standing there, and then get one under your chin. Whoa.
And that's not setting him up to go down and away the next pitch either.
No,
it
no,
just got out of his hand.
That's just being really wild.
You ever give a guy a little chin music just to set up the next pitch?
No, I didn't believe in throwing inside.
Well, Alfredo Simon does. And Gung nipped with the pitch.
I think these last two is more just not having a clue where you're throwing it.
Back of the arm there. Tricep area just above the elbow. Pirates maybe put together a little 2-out rally here.
Guess if you're Sean, you're not digging in right now. Kind of. Okay, let's hang loose here. Let's see where this first one goes. Just in case.
All of a sudden, 2 on with 2 out. Rodriguez already with 4 home runs this year, equaling last year's total. Nearing his RBI total as well from last season. Cervelli, the lead runner, he walked, and the next pitch, Gung hit with the pitch. Ryan Price has seen Simon pitch the best he has in his last start.
Pulled the string on him with that curveball. Shone way out in front of it.
Here's the 1-2. Try to get him to chase again.
Came back with that real slow curveball again.
Ooh.
That black bat saved him. Hard to see him.
Still even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Simon won't throw Rodriguez a straight fastball, and you can't blame him. Pirates the best fastball hitting team in baseball. Rodriguez no exception. Couple of cutters, then all off speed and breaking stuff since.
Some guys will still throw that pride fastball though.
Or almost use it as a change of pace, maybe. I mean, once you get them looking for slow stuff
Oh
after
yeah,
a while.
don't throw it for a strike. Or give it to him when you get a big lead.
So right there, just kind of. Okay, you see it now.
I wouldn't have showed it to anybody to go to a full count. I mean, you know, 0-2 pitch, 1-2 pitch, maybe even go to 2-2 with throwing an intentional ball. Thing about that fastball, unless you throw it up, probably not going to get a chase. Sometimes guys will chase it upstairs.
Runners will move now.
Not yet, no. Simon trying to get somebody before they're running. But you have to wait until Simon says.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at bat upcoming. Base hit could give the Pirates the first lead. Simon got him to lunge out of the zone, but the Pirates getting the equalizer on the home run by Andrew McCutchen. And his 7th, knocks it at 1. Well, you know, we didn't get to play last night, so, you know, might as well try to get it all in. Make up for it today, right?
Absolutely.
I don't think you're being serious.
No, I'm always serious.
Well, there's another hit batter. First pitch from Nicasio. He plunks Brandon Phillips, and here come the warnings. Now, would not be a Reds Pirates series without a little bit of intrigue.
Because when the umpire comes out like this, like he sent you to a neutral corner.
Right. You get a timeout. It comes right in. And
Yeah, he didn't just lose that one. I don't believe.
and you can see Jeff Kellogg talking with Francisco Cervelli. And all right, everyone's square now. Okay, don't do this anymore. Brandon Phillips been around the block. He knows what's going on. Bruce popped out his first time.
A little wiggling of the fingers there, right there at the end. That's the sign for changeup. In case you're wondering what that meant. That's a sign for a two-seam fastball. He wants to throw a fastball that has a little run on it, hopefully down and away.
Gets him to foul it off.
And that's exactly what he threw. You could see that little downward run that the ball had. So it was moving away, heading right to where Cervelli had the glove. Nice pitch. It's kind of like playing like a video game for the catcher. Just, well, now what? Okay. Right where he wanted it. He gave the 3 outside. He wanted to try and backdoor that slider. Try and get a called strike. And it just didn't come in. Okay, he's going to go back to the two-seam fastball. Same pitch he started him with.
And that time Bruce saw it coming.
Well, the difference in those 2 pitches was the first one was down about knee high, maybe just a little bit above the knees. And that one, that was way above the belt. If he got that ball down, he might get a ground ball to third. See him tapping his chest there. He's kind of saying that one's on me. See how high that ball was? Even though that wasn't a strike, the ball was outside. It was still not nearly where he wants a two-seam fastball to go. If he wants to throw the ball upstairs, he needs to throw the ball, the four-seam fastball that will stay straight, but won't have that little downward movement on it. And if you throw a four-seam fastball, most guys will try to put a little bit more on it. They'll give it their best effort, try to get max velocity.
Bruce's 6th home run of the year gives the Reds the lead back 3-1. They keep answering. Now Suarez. So that hit batter ends up costing a run. Comes in to score. So even 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still nobody out here in this 4th inning. And a little tardy call, but a 3rd strikeout for Nicasio. Might have benefited a bit there.
Not a happy man, was he?
Adam Duvall.
See, now, if he's not happy, he should go over to Simon and say, hey, quit getting me hit. You know, that's who you should go have a talk with, right?
His wildness coming up and in on Cervelli, and then the next pitch hitting gun in the top half of this inning. Phillips just happened to be the next guy up. Plenty of room here for McCutcheon. And speaking of Brandon Phillips, he took the brunt of it as well last August. After Joe Blanton had got Marlon Byrd the day before. Former Pirate get mad and the bench is empty.
Seems like Sean's always right around in the middle there. What do you think?
Never afraid to voice his opinion.
Some guys they like to kind of mix it up a little, get in there. Sean's one of those guys.
Standing up for his team, right? We were talking about it. We were talking about it the other day. How we just don't see a lot. There's a strike, and in my opinion, it's good. We don't see a lot of on-field fisticuffs and things of that nature.
I believe that that's really gone way down in, say, the last couple decades.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see some benches empty every now and then, some shouting.
It just doesn't happen. It used to see it, 3 or 4 times a year. It would be like very average year, not even really all that many.
Yeah.
But now it's pretty uncommon.
Well, you start doing that, you get suspended, and cost your team some games. And within the division, Pirates have had some chippiness going on. Easter Sunday against the Brewers a couple years ago. Another memorable one.
Yeah, we had a little something in the wild card game last year.
Oh, sure. And Nicasio gets another strikeout. He's got 4, but the Reds get 2 on the home run by Bruce. taking the lead 3-1. Brandon Phillips hit with the pitch, scoring ahead of the home run.
Well, he's laughing again, so that's good. Good sign.
Hard did not see Brandon Phillips smiling on a baseball field. And communicating on location there.
Either that or advice on
general sequencing.
Romance.
Oh, romance. That's amore. If you've been out to Pirates game so far, maybe you've caught that on the scoreboard. Jordy Mercer bounced out his first trip. Pirates getting a run on the McCutchen home run last inning. And Jay Bruce gets the first out here in the 5th.
Anything good happened in the past on this day?
Well, thanks for asking, Bob. Our day automotive this day in history, and back in 1956, the Pirates beating the Phillies 6-5 at Forbes Field. And in the 9th, rookie catcher Danny Kravitz hit a walk-off grand slam, his first career home run. And no stranger to home runs, first baseman Dale Long 3 for 3 with a run batted in for the Bucks that day.
1956, my birth year. That's a long time ago. I didn't know you were going to go back that far.
Do you like how I said 1956?
Yeah. Very much did.
Nicasio flat out his first time around. Simon with a fairly economical pitch count. He's given up just one hit. That was that home run to McCutchen. He's walked a couple, hit a batter. Really throughout the season has not been at his best. Casio almost fulfills.
Yeah, he got it back
wish.
there. Couple steps in front of the track. That's opposite field. He's got the pop to do it one of these days.
Two gone now for Freeze. And the fire has not quite yet been extinguished. It's almost like the Olympic torch, perhaps.
Yeah.
Maybe they just let it run during the game.
Like.
I've seen that one other time here where they couldn't get the smokestack to stop smoking. In that case, this is just a little flame flicker. But they had the smokestack. It was smoking.
What it's supposed to do.
But it kept going and going, and it was starting to become a distraction. So they had to get the crew out in the middle of the game. David Freese in the leadoff spot tonight, 0 for 2. Yeah, Simon signed in late March and really used a lot of April as his spring training. Getting that arm strength back up, going through that dead period, that dead arm phase.
Seems like that really became a little bit of a theme this year. Guys signing late. In fact, I think it's happening more and more.
I think so too.
Year after year, but this year I really noticed it.
I mean, some guys are still out there. Kyle Loesch is yet to sign, for instance. Got underneath it. Will it stay in play? And it'll get back in the seats. Well, not quite. Hey, guys.
What was that game you used to play where you get points, catch on one hop, 2 hops?
Oh, sure.
Why can't I think of the name of that game?
We used to play one called curb ball, and we'd hit it off the curb. David Freese hits this one a long way to right center, and there it goes. David Freese, the leadoff man, with a home run. And the Pirates pull back to within 3-2 on Freese's second home run of the year.
That one he pounded. That got up by the tunnel. What a great ballpark to hit in.
Very inviting grandstand and right.
Great American hitters ballpark.
He's a little happy.
They jump out the left here also. Doesn't matter.
Only 370 to the power alley in right center. But that one was going to get out anyway. Who said leadoff men can't hit home runs?
Well, it's what you were talking about earlier.
Well, the last pitch came a little bit inside of McCutchen here, and I'm wondering if the Pirates.
Well, the last pitch was actually on the plate. So it wasn't inside at all.
Yeah, McCutchen just close to the plate, making it look like it.
We'll show the strike zone up there here in a moment. You'll see that it was actually it was over the edge of the plate. It wasn't inside. See the first pitch, how it's over the edge? If that ball's down a little bit, it's actually a strike. But back what I was saying about you talking about the lineup and how it doesn't matter where you're at. It's like there's guys that can hit home runs, hit for average, get RBIs, have good on base percentage, whatever.
McCutchen hits this one deep to center. And Hamilton has room. McCutchen almost homered in consecutive innings. The Reds hold on to the lead for now. Alfredo Simon's given up 2 hits, both home runs. And almost a third here. Didn't that sound good?
Yes, it did. Right in front of the dugout. Pretty deep out there. It'll be about 400 foot or so right to where that ball was caught.
How many home runs, within 5 feet?
A dozen.
Has he had this year?
I was just guessing a dozen that he's put right. And some of those dozen was at Tiger Stadium where he was hitting them 420 and not getting them out. Tiger Stadium, I guess there is.
Comerica Park.
Comerica Park.
Oh, there's the LSU football. Hey, some of the swings he takes, he could hit it out of football stadium too.
He hit it out of old Tiger Stadium. What was it, 440?
440 to dead center there, yeah. This is Tucker Barnhart. Our Point Park tweets. There's a freeze warning in Cincy. Past Freeze up first. Barnhart, a catcher, able to get into second.
Big difference than when Hamilton hit that ball.
Well, to be fair, it didn't go in the corner either. But
yeah, we do have to put that out, I guess.
Now, if you slow down Hamilton in the slow motion, it still may look like it's live speed. Freeze isn't doing anything wrong. He's just gotten a couple balls up that line.
Barnhart actually looks like he looks pretty decent for a catcher.
Young guy.
I wonder if catchers that kind of hate that term.
Sacrifice successful.
You know what I mean? For a catcher. I'm very guilty of saying that all the time. That runs good for a catcher.
Jason Kendall, you know.
Oh, he ran good for anybody.
Right. You know, so there's exceptions. Barnhart only 25. He's at third now with one out. Here's the rest of our Point Park tweets. Nicky saying home run. Donnie freeze frame. David Freeze in that home run. Infield is in now. This may be deep enough. We'll see.
Should be interesting. He may have left early.
The relay, there's nobody at home plate, and yeah, it looks like they're going to try to appeal that he left early. Cervelli sees it. So at the moment he scores on a sac fly, but we'll see on the appeal. The appeal process is an interesting one. At the moment a sac fly, but looks like by all indications they're going to appeal that Barnhart left early from third base. Bob, you saw it right?
Yeah, it looked like to me, and well, we got a really nice view of it right here, kind of looking straight down toward left field.
Here's the official appeal.
Oh, safe call. Huh?
Now have to do the appeal first before any challenge.
So you can appeal the appeal. Oh, he caught it. His foot was on the bag.
It was very close.
What I think made it look like it, and what I saw, what Cervelli saw, the upper body movement started before the foot came off the bag. Made it look like he left early.
So the sac fly gives the Reds their fourth run of the night.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Equinox and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Barrel. We'll beat anybody's price. Find out more at barrel.com. Let's go Bucks!
6th inning. 4-2 Cincinnati. They have answered every time the Pirates have scored in this series. The Reds have scored in the next inning. And H.K. Kim interpreting.
Well, they're talking about the lining up for the throw, coming to the plate, when to cut it off, when not to cut it off. And that ball that Marte threw, one of the rare times where Marte really made a poor throw. It had a lot of slice on it, a lot of movement, and Jung Ho Kang basically had to go get it. When you know you have to move that much to get the ball, it's not going to be on line anyway. You might as well cut it off. And then what happened was he kind of did a no-look throw to the plate, thinking, well, should be a play there. But there was nobody there because Cervelli had left the plate to go after the ball himself. But it all didn't matter. There was no base runners or anything.
But for next time, always communicating, always trying to get it better.
Yeah, if there would have been, say, a runner out at second base, and that ball went into the stands, would have cost another run.
Watch Barnhart.
Now you're going to see Marte's ball really tail. But Jung Ho wouldn't cut that off on his own. Obviously, if Cervelli would have told him to cut it, then Cervelli wouldn't have went after it himself. See, there goes Cervelli after the ball. So there is nobody at home.
Trying to straighten one out. This one will go foul as well. He's hit a couple way down that right field line in foul ground.
He's not really catching them perfect, though. You notice that? We know how far he can hit one when he catches it perfectly. I don't know if he can reach the Ohio here, like he put one in the Allegheny, but
Juan Francisco has done it. He's, I think, the only one that's hit it out of this ballpark. I don't know if anyone hit the river, though. That's got to be probably impossible.
Well, there's a highway out there that maybe you got a big bounce off of, perhaps. Simon wanted that, but there's the adjusted to the height of the knee strike zone in play.
This will be the 90th pitch for Simon.
The strike zone we show in the corner always looks the same size no matter who's hitting. But in reality, it is adjusted for up and down.
Wanting to be careful here with Polanco. He'll have his 8th pitch of the at-bat upcoming.
And sometimes you'll see a ball put in play and then we'll show it on the strike zone, like where it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it would have estimated it would have went if it hadn't been hit.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, they got it right. Polanco down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight.
Ball had a lot of runs. See that one? Take off, run off the plate. Excellent movement.
Former Red Jeff Branson. Starling Marte coming into tonight 4 straight games with 2 or more hits. Has flat out a pair of times. Suarez guarding the line at third. Ooh, hit with the pitch in the hand.
That getting him in the hand or the
Hand
knob
or
of the bat? They call foul ball on that? Or they say hitting?
I think it sounded like it got him in the hand with that hollowing sound. Hand or the wrist. Back of the hand or just above it. Tomczyk is out. Yeah, right. There's that bone that sticks out.
Yeah, that definitely.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, the wrist bone.
I don't know what it's called, but that's
the wrist bone.
Yeah, I think it got him right near there. That's where he pointed to.
A wrist pin, what they call that. Holds the piston to the connecting rod.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'd believe you. I got to ask my wife about all that stuff. I don't know. Marte hit with a pitch, and both benches have been worn tonight, but that's one of those that clearly just rode in on Marte, who stands over the plate anyway.
Yeah, this ball was. I remember the one we talked about to McCutchen. Now this one is quite a ways further inside than that other one. Only 80 mile an hour. I believe that was a splitter.
That's faster than I drive. I wouldn't want to be hitting the wrist with something that fast.
What about like out on a turnpike?
Well, I was talking about side streets. I don't know. No, of course not. What a catch by Kozar. Stealing one from Cervelli.
Push off. Knee must be feeling good now. Get up like that one. Kozar had to leave one of the games in PNC Park. Knee was bothering him a little bit.
Well, they had 2 men aboard then. Instead, 2 outs for Gung. You said you wanted to see a couple of home runs tonight. You've gotten your wish.
Well, that's where it starts too. Anything over that's okay. Fine also.
You were also hoping for one with a man on. Pirates have managed his 2 hits against Simon, both home runs though. Gung hit 2 in his first game back on Friday. McCutchen on the left, Freeze on the right. Home ring tonight. Garrett Cole giving him some hitting tips. See, this is how you hit home runs, fellas. Marte running. Pitches a strike. And he's safe. His 10th stolen base.
Phillips is trying to say that he left the tag on him. Remember, that's what we were talking about. You get nowadays it's very important to leave the tag on the runner.
In case they slide off the base.
Yep.
Does he have control of the ball? Yes, there. Well, now did he come off right?
You know, no, he didn't leave the tag on him. The tag comes off of him because he almost loses the baseball. See the ball? He almost loses it, and that's when he had to kind of re-catch the ball, and that was the moment that he needed to have the glove on his arm.
And you were saying this, Bob, you know, if a fingernail comes off the bag.
Oh, they'll see it, yeah. But I think his fingernail was on the bag. Now right there, see, he has to reapply a tag.
Well, does he move Marte's arm?
Yeah, his hand comes off the bag, but the glove comes off his hand also. You know,
but I mean, his tag is pushing the hand of Marte.
Well, then now it's like, did he push him off, or did Marte's
momentum
take him off? I don't know.
Right.
How are you going to tell that?
That's splitting hairs, but that's where we're at these days with these challenges.
My point is that twice the glove came off. He did not have the glove on there from first contact until all the way through the end. Came off twice. Now I don't know if one of those times, well, the second time, was his glove coming off his wrist before the fingernail left the bag. I don't know.
And that's what they're looking at back in New York right now. The umpires reviewing this Reds challenge. If the Reds win the challenge, the inning is over. If they lose the challenge, Marte registers his 10th stolen base. Young will have a 2-2 count on him with a man in scoring position, and the Reds would be out of challenges for the rest of the night.
Hey, here's a scoring question for you. In the old days, when the umpire would say safe, and then you would come off the base, and then they would tag you, a score would give you a steal for that because you originally were called safe. What about an instance if he gets called out now by New York?
That's a great
because
point.
he was called safe here, does he still get the steal?
I don't know.
But then he was called out for coming off the bag after he was called safe. And I never thought about that.
I have to talk with an official scorer and find out. Maybe they know.
Yeah, here's the answer. It's going to be.
He's out.
Wow. Well, they must have thought that the momentum took him off then.
And Clint Hurdle does not like what happened in this scenario, and I think he thinks
that he was pushed off.
Yes, and Phillips moved his hand. And I kind of thought that too, the more I looked at it.
Well, we talked about it, that was going to be, they're going to have to decide, did his momentum take his finger off the bag, or did he get pushed off with the glove? And that, I don't know how you tell that on videotape. That's hard to tell. I don't know. I guess they're not looking at videotape though. It's something.
Well, we know
it. What would you call that anyway? Just video?
Video. So instead, it's a caught stealing to end the inning. Clint Hurdle continuing to talk with Jeff Kellogg.
I think Marte just got thrown out of the game. And Marte is gone. From shallow left field, he threw him out of the game. Marte was probably a good 30-40 feet away from him when he got thrown out. But that doesn't mean he wasn't yelling at him.
Usually there's some leeway given. Alan Porter, the fourth-year umpire, PA native. Who says we don't see arguing anymore? Well, it can change the whole dynamic of the inning. Clint Hurdle's going to give up the fight, and the Pirates are going to need a new outfielder.
Now,
Marte.
Did he get pushed off? Or did he go off on his own? You know, looking at that, I'm voting for pushed off now.
Well, we'll take a quick break and come back here to Cincinnati. Porter, who ejected Starling Marte from the game.
Now look, you can see where Porter is out there on the edge of the outfield grass. And you see where Marte is standing on the warning track in front of the dugout, and that's where he got thrown out from.
Now you're not supposed to argue.
He said, watching at him, he said he pushed me off my hand off the base. He goes, "You didn't see that? You didn't see that?" And that's what he got thrown out for. That's what it looks like to me.
Well, you're not. It is not legal to argue the results of replay, and that's probably what Alan Porter is going to stick with there, as the Sean Rodriguez, the new left fielder, retiring that one. Rodriguez moving over from second base, now occupied by Josh Harrison, who will bat in the 4th spot. Now Marte steals the base, trying to keep his hand on the bag, and then Phillips, whose weight is shifting back behind him.
What I saw just before we went to break that I didn't notice before, it looked like his hand was coming to a stop. You know, it slowed way down, and then when the glove hit the back of his hand, then it started to accelerate again. So to me, that showed that it got knocked off the bat.
Clint Hurdle also ejected from the game. So Dave Joss will be running things in the Pirates dugout now. Quickly 2 gone. Meanwhile, after the smoke clearing here, and Eugenio Suarez coming up. Now that I could see where Alan Porter can't see that live with Phillips pushing Marte's hand.
I asked,
but in New York, that you would see that on the replay. I would think.
I asked the question, can you see if it was momentum or if he was looking at video and watching it and really paying attention and thinking about, was he pushed off or not? I think yes, you can see, because you can see his hand actually speed up to leave the bag once it got the glove slapped on the back of it.
And in the summary of the review, they mentioned nothing about Phillips's tag of pushing Marte's hand. It just says that Marte's hand comes off, and so that's the ruling. So none of that was mentioned in the summary.
You can't be pushed off a bag, though.
Right.
And
right. Well, so that was missed.
It kind of looks like he was.
Yeah. Meanwhile, through all that, Juan Nicasio settles right down and sends down the Reds on a 7-pitch inning.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Kenny Ross, Total Confidence Pricing, And by Levin Furniture, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
7th inning, and the Reds have a 4-2 advantage. Juan Nicasio very efficiently 68 pitches through 6 innings. But on the wrong side of the ledger at the moment. And getting it checked out between innings. To clarify the reason why the folks in New York did not comment on whether Phillips took Marte's hand off the bag, that is a judgment call in the rule book. And as we're learning through replay, there's so many things that are reviewable. There's a few things that are not reviewable, and that portion of that remains just a judgment call. Gung gets a hold of this one. It's deep. Duvall back, and there it goes. Jung-Ho Gung with a home run. His 3rd of the year, and the Buccos back within a run.
What a ballpark. Well, we got to start doing this with guys on bags. 3 hits, 3 home runs.
That's where they put airplanes.
A big leg kick. Good bat speed. Ball jumps out. Back to that plate the second. One more time here while we get a second to talk about it.
All right, pitching
never mind.
change.
We don't have a second. Never mind.
Presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Joss in charge now with Clint Hurdle being ejected from the game. Starling Marte also ejected, arguing results of replay.
But see, now that's why I don't understand. He wasn't arguing the results of the replay. He wasn't arguing whether he was off the bag or not. He was arguing the judgment call,
well, that's
whether
a good
he was
point.
pushed off.
Well, sure, yeah, I guess
so
you're right.
Why are you so you can't get thrown out for that?
Not automatically, then.
No,
right.
but I mean, he didn't like do anything else to get thrown out. But here's the thing: I was going to point out. You can't. I mean, the second base umpire, Porter, didn't say he was pushed off the bag because in his mind he wasn't off the bag. But then when
yes.
replay says, well, yes, he was, well, then Porter should have the opportunity to say, well, then if he was off the bag, then I got to change my call and say he was pushed off the bag. I believed
it's a double jeopardy.
I believed he was pushed to the edge of the bag, but now that we see that my original judgment on whether he was touching the bag or not was overruled, well, then I'm going to say, well, the push then went ahead and take him off the bag, so he's still safe.
Yeah, so
that's what I don't understand.
That's a great point, because in this rare circumstance, there's literally no way they could get the call right then.
But you definitely have to be able to argue that with Porter. You have to say, hey, okay, now that they've said that he was off the bag, now we have to talk about, was he pushed off? And we have another hitter hit.
That's right. 3 Pirates have been hit with pitches now in this game, equaling the amount of home runs they hit off Alfredo Simon in 6+ innings. Steve Delabar, one-time All-Star, now in relief. Jordy Mercer 0 for 2 tonight. And John Jaso would bat next. He would come in for Nicasio. Very close at first.
Now, when you get it from the catcher, this is where being a right-handed first baseman, actually, oh, he's out. They're going to look at that, aren't they? This is where it helps you, because now your glove hand is on the proper side for a quick tag.
No, they're not going to look at it, I don't think.
Yeah, I can't believe they're not looking at this.
Well, the crowd just might try to convince the Reds, but Brian Price isn't even going to think about it.
Oh, wow. They had it on the scoreboard just now.
They have a challenge because they've already won their challenge tonight. Wow.
That is amazing.
Well, usually even on any close play, the manager's looking back in from some sort of sign relayed from their video person.
Would call time or something. But when you can look up on your high def scoreboard that's 1,000 feet wide up there and see the play right in front of you, why wouldn't you call time? We didn't see that right.
Very unusual.
Wasn't he out?
It's at least worth looking at, I would think.
Wow.
Especially at this stage of the game. 1-run game in the 7th.
Here it is.
Is he out? Yep.
Yeah, he's out. I can't believe they didn't look at that.
And that's how big the scoreboard is.
Yeah, that's where they showed it. When you heard the crowd yell, they looked at what we just showed. And that's when they still didn't call time.
The umpires can't use that to determine their call, but the managers sure can look at that if they so choose and challenge a call that way. That's not how they do it, but they could.
And we saw one earlier this year where I thought maybe the managers might have taken, or the umpires took a peek. San Diego.
I know what you're talking about. Rodriguez running. And on the run and hit. Looks like he's going to have to go back. Yep. And Mercer pops out for the first out of the inning. You can follow Pirates Baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live video game highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. We see John Jaso as a pinch hitter. Too bad for Juan Nicasio tonight. If he's on the right side of the scoreboard, he might be going all night tonight. Only 68 pitches through 6 innings.
So efficient. Even if there was one inning you pointed out he gave up a run, he only threw 5 pitches. It's a weird scoreboard. 3 runs on 3 hits for the Pirates, 4 runs on 4 hits for Cincinnati. Just 7 hits in this game, but there's been 7 runs.
And only one walk or hit batter has come around to score. It's not like it's been a bunch of walks. Nicasio didn't even walk a batter in his 6 innings. Poor Juan Nicasio. His ERA has gone up by more than a run in the last 2 days. One because of an overturned error yesterday.
Went from what, 316 to 402?
Went over 4, and then today,
without throwing a pitch.
Probably pitched. You could argue that other than his 7 shutout innings against the Reds, this might be his next best outing. And his ERA went up again. It's like the movie Friday. How do you get fired on your day off?
Yeah.
How does your ERA go up and you don't even pitch?
And then it went up tonight. He pitched well, very well.
Jaso down on strikes. Barnhart trying to make sure that Rodriguez was awake.
It looked like Sean was a little tardy getting back, and Barnhart, he reacted a little late. See how he's just standing there, and then he decides to throw. If he would have threw right away, he might have had him. Sean wasn't even in the picture there. He was way off the bat.
David Freese homered his last time.
Sean's very anxious to get into scoring position.
Well, he'll get into scoring position now.
Yep. Tying run is at second now.
David Freese. Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Back in the 5th. The leadoff man can. Home run for Freese. One of 3 long balls hit by the Buccos tonight. Steve Delabar, the former All-Star with Toronto. Jung Ho Kang is also homered. He led off the inning with a Great American Special. Rodriguez at second with 2 outs. That's the tying run here in the 7th. Delabar strikes out Freese to end the threat. Time to stretch here in Cincinnati. Francisco Cervelli's intense off-season workouts. See how the Pirates catcher is reaching his goals and the top of his craft on Inside Pirates Baseball. Francisco Cervelli hungry tonight after postgame right here on Root Sports. 4-3 Reds. Pirates trying to split this series after the rainout yesterday. 3 home runs tonight. And Jared Hughes working on in relief. Adam Duvall 0 for 2 tonight. Shift is on for him. 3 men on the left side.
I got it.
Reach out here.
Are you going to fight me for it?
Well, you know, I think we need to bring a fishing net on the road. You see us? That's
where we're at.
Do you see the shine from my head? Yeah, that's where we're at.
Oh, it is shiny.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's like a beacon in the night.
I got something for that in my back.
Oh, yeah. See that? Look at it. See, I shined it, revved it up, ready. So everyone can know where we're at.
That picture you showed me today. You were what?
Oh, from
16?
My cousin Tina sent that to me. My 8th grade picture. There's another hit batter.
How many guys have been hit since the warning?
3. And funny enough, it's been the first batter that Delabar faced, the first batter that Hughes has faced, been hit.
Don't you love warnings?
I think the umpires are feeling the temperature of the game. Now Jordan Pacheco. Jeff Kellogg deeming that doesn't really change anything with the game. Everyone's just kind of moving along. Okay, all right.
Go foul.
And it does. Some more Point Park tweets tonight. How about Jung Ho Kang's home run? Jung Ho gone. Ariana working on her play call.
Gone. I like that one.
Alan, yeah, thinks it looked effortless. It's probably because it almost was.
Yeah.
Kind of stuck his bat out.
Natural bat speed.
He does, though. I had not gotten a good look at him until Friday, watching him hit in batting practice. I could not believe how just quickly the ball jumps off his bat. It's a different kind of feeling than a lot of other hitters. Not getting to see him as closely last season. And already 3 home runs in his first week back. Pitch out, and they catch him. And he's called out. The throw beat him. We'll have to see on the replay. I don't know if the tag beat him. Let's find out. Up here, I don't know.
Throw was a little high, and that made it close.
Foot is in. Well,
if he was tagged, he was out. If he missed him, he was safe.
let's say this as the Reds elect to challenge. If the Reds had challenged Sean Rodriguez being out on the pickoff and lost it, now they couldn't challenge this play.
But they wouldn't have lost it because he was easily out.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean they wouldn't have lost it.
That was one that I could say for sure.
We don't always know what's going to happen because they have more angles than we have access to. And they are experts.
If that angle right there's no way of knowing if he was tagged or not.
Yeah, there's no way to overturn it. They have to have definitive evidence that nothing happened. He might have got him on the elbow.
Yeah, you can't say right there, oh, he missed him. There's no way of knowing unless they're seeing something that we can't see.
And they'll try to find out in New York if they can find anything to overturn it. Otherwise, it may stand, maybe go as stands, play stands. They can't tell anything one way or the other, or they could confirm the call and say that they saw indeed for sure.
I'd bet 4 Oreo cookies that he's going to be out.
I'm with you on that. I don't see any way that they can overturn it.
We're going to keep track all year. Okay, I'm putting 4.
But I'm not betting against you. I'm not.
You're going to bet with me.
I'm betting with you.
How many cookies you going to put up there?
I'd put 3 cookies on.
You're going to bet 3 Oreos. And we'll see
I'm
at
more
the end of the year
conservative.
who has more Oreo cookies.
Okay. All right.
And whoever has more, the other person has to buy you the difference.
I like that. And if there's any left over in the package,
they go to the.
Maybe the guys in the truck can have some fun.
Yeah, they can have a cookie or so.
They deserve more than that.
There's no food allowed in the truck.
Well, we'll have to put it just outside the truck and see if we can lure them out.
Put it in one of those, like a box with a stick and a string.
See if they can trap them. Now the Reds are challenging this play.
The fact that they are taking so long here now has me starting to worry a little bit. That maybe they're seeing a view that we didn't see.
Uh-oh. Some double stuffs might be coming. He's still out. All right.
Okay, I'm plus 4 cookies. You're plus 3 on the season. Good thing we didn't start this earlier. I think this might be the first time I've been right all year.
The call stands, meaning they don't have anything one way or another that could tell for sure that it was a right call or not a right call. So Duvall caught stealing. The pitch out works perfectly. You see very, very few pitch outs called these days. Last year a low in pitch outs called. But that worked to perfection. Now you don't need that double play ball from Jared Hughes. Two. Now the Reds are out of challenges. In case that matters here in the final throes of this affair. Talking with Jared Hughes the other day as well about him trying to get reacclimated to being back on the hill. And remember a late start with him this year. But saying that felt like he was overthrowing the ball a little bit early on. The velocity was too high. He felt too good.
Throwing the ball too hard.
Not getting enough sink on the ball. Did you feel that your sinker was better when your arm's a little more fatigued? I mean, I hear that sometimes.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I mean, not just lately, but for 30, 40 years, and I've never really understood it. I guess because I never experienced something like that. I never went out there where I had bad stuff and thought that was a plus for me. That the better my stuff was,
the more live and fresh your arm was.
More confident I felt. That
okay.
Usually the better the results too. But I have heard that about 2-seam fastballs. I mean, you know, think about it. If you lob it in there about 50 miles an hour, it's going to drop real fast. So I mean, that's the theory, that if you're throwing slower, that it's going to gravity's going to grab it and it's going to drop. But if it won't be, it's kind of like that curveball that instead of bites hard, just kind of rolls up there. That's the way I've always looked at it. But you know, everybody has their own opinions and has their own experiences out on the mound.
Hughes gets the strikeout. So 2 gone for Tucker Barnhart to follow. And a look at our Nissan road ahead. Off day tomorrow as Pirates will travel to Chicago tonight. A couple of lefties, Liriano and Locke, against Hamill and Arrieta, both ERAs under 2, and same with the lefty John Lester, who will go against Garrett Cole. All day games from Wrigley.
Looks like the Cubs are losing game 2 also in their doubleheader. Down 1-0
in the 5th. Joey Votto out on deck. He would bat for the pitcher. Now the Cubs have not lost back-to-back games this year. They lost earlier today. Barnhart, and McCutchen can't get there. He's going to try for 3, and the throw is late.
Well, he does run well for a catcher.
First career triple for Tucker Barnhart.
Yeah, I didn't think he slowed down a little bit in between first and second. And then right about now is when he's picking it back up and digging hard for third. He makes it.
Barnhart.
Watch around first base here. He's going to start to right there. See how he slowed down? And then now he's going to pick it up as he got to second base. He decided, I'm going to go for it.
Second year, first triple.
Put some Velcro around those bases, just around the outside rim. Gloves with Velcro on them.
Now the Pirates have been playing their infield shallower too, and on a rare occasion you're seeing a ball hit over their heads, but the numbers are still saying that the balls that they're taking away dropping in front of them, far out numbers. Maybe on a ball like that where McCutchen maybe would have had it last year a few steps back, might have been able to catch up with that ball.
Again, and I'm always bringing up this point here. It's a game situation that has to sometimes override those macro numbers. Game situation here, you have 2 outs, nobody on in a 1-run ball game. Back up a little bit. You don't really care with 2 outs if somebody hits a single. What you want to guard against is an extra base hit that's going to immediately put somebody in the scoring position with 2 outs. A 2-out single, not so bad. A 2-out double or triple, not good. Late in the ball game, 1-run game. So you have to make those adjustments, not just on the macro numbers, but what's going on with the game too.
Tyler Holt pinch hitting. They had Votto out on deck, but instead the rookie. Trying to keep this a 1-run game. Cingrani, who has saved 2 games in a row now for the Reds. Getting up. Let's go to the 8th. 2-out triple left stranded by Jared Hughes. Join fellow fans and alumni of your favorite school for a game at PNC Park. Plus, you can receive a Pirates cap in your university colors. So get your cap, purchase tickets, and go to pirates.com/university nights. Eighth inning, Pirates down a run. They've hit 3 solo home runs tonight. And now Tony Cingrani, who has been their closer, in to pitch.
What do you think? Will he multi-inning effort tonight?
In his first save opportunity, he went, I think he got 5 outs. But in the last game, he just came on in the 9th against the Pirates. Well, we know the Reds bullpen has been beleaguered. It by far has the highest ERA in baseball. So maybe a short list of guys Ryan Price likes to go with when they have a narrow lead. Andrew McCutchen to lead it off. He's homered tonight and narrowly missed a home run, driving one deep to center his last time.
Showing some patience right here. First 2 pitches down and away. No reason to swing at those, but now he's got to offer if he thinks it's close. That was tough right there. You can see where the first 2 pitches were down and away, that he doesn't want to hit those unless he has to. So he takes them. But then when he gets 0-2, now he's got to expand. Now he's got to swing at anything that might be close. Doesn't want to get struck out without a swing. And he gets that borderline fastball. 94-mile-an-hour right at the very top of the strike zone. He's got to go after it. And that's a tough one to catch up to. Sometimes it's just a good job of pitching. So, I mean, you can't do anything about it. Those guys are getting paid also.
Blanco has struck out twice. This one is not enough. Cingrani, in his save effort, gave up that leadoff double to Gung on Monday and then ended up with a 9-pitch inning to earn his 2nd save. Reds have only had 3 saves. Cingrani, who was a hotshot starter just a few years ago.
Yeah, when he first came up, he looked like he was going to be a great find. Threw the ball very hard. Control problems. It gets a lot of young guys with the great arms.
Habanero and Watson. This one hit deep to center. Maybe. It's got a chance, and there it goes. Josh Harrison with a home run to center, and he has tied the game here in the 8th. Wasn't even supposed to be in the game. Marte ejected, Harrison homers, and the hometown kid ties it.
A lot of happy folks out there in the stands up behind the Pirate dugout. They're those same seats every time we're here. That's a big home run in front of your folks. Tie the game up late.
4-4. And now Cervelli and all the Harrisons here didn't know they'd see Josh in the ball game tonight, getting the day off.
Right in the middle of the plate, about maybe mid-thigh. Got up there quite a ways too. That didn't just barely make it.
4 Bucco blasts tonight, and Cervelli underneath it a bit. That ends the inning.
But the Pirates tied it on the home run by Harrison. Sixth inning, fireworks were going. This is what caused a lot of controversy. Did Phillips push his hand off the bag? Marte, after the challenge, called out. Clint Hurdle ejected from the ball game. Starling Marte ejected from the ball game. And so someone had to go to the outfield. John Rodriguez moved out to left. Clint Hurdle stating his case with Alan Porter, and here's the second base umpire. So who plays second base to fill in? Josh Harrison, and he just homered to tie this game at 4 on 4 hits. Now Tony Watson.
Opponent average very low, always is for Tony.
They'll work to the top of the order with Cozart, Hamilton, and Phillips due up here in the last of the 8th. Tough play. Harrison made that look easy. Wow.
I was wondering if there was going to be a communication problem with those 2 middle infielders. As we're watching it, it looks like they could both maybe get to it at the same time. Somebody had to give ground. It was Mercer that peeled off.
That ball had a lot of spin on it too. On the other side of the bag, and able to just get a strong throw very quickly.
Yeah, that carried all the way in the air.
This momentum moving away from the bag. Very quiet out. What could have been some trouble. Hamilton with the triple back in the first. Scored the first run of the ball game. Now Ross Ohlendorf with bullpen coach Mac Jenkins. Tony Watson issuing a 1-2-3 inning in his last outing. That was the first time he had done that since opening day. And getting more Watson-like.
whereas the calendar has turned to May. Always a hard time with Hamilton running. 2 gone on 2 ground ball outs.
And Mercer being very quick as he had to with that exchange, getting that ball out of the glove as quick as he could. Mercer has that strong arm too. He gets a lot of velocity on that ball. See that strap that goes over the back of his left hand. Looks like it's got a little place you can get a little stickiness for his throwing arm or throwing hand.
Young guarding the line at third for Phillips. Extra room in left center. Phillips drove in Hamilton back in the first. Scored in the fourth ahead of Bruce's 2-run home run after he was hit with the pitch. Late in the game.
No doubles, which includes, I talked earlier about the ball getting over your head. 2 outs, nobody on. Jung Ho right on the line. He's playing there, trying to guard a ball that's just inside the bag.
Harrison with time, and 3 ground ball outs for Tony Watson. Will go to the 9th, still tied at 4. At 1:30 with Pirates pregame, presented by WB Mason, right here on Root Sports. And 4-4 here in the 9th. And in Washington, D.C. tonight, Max Scherzer, we know what he can do against the lineup. He has a chance of tying. In fact, he just has now tied the major league record for strikeouts in a game with 20 strikeouts, and he's got a chance to set the record as James McCann coming to the plate. That's in D.C. and here Ross Ollendorf on for the Reds.
Well, Ross really holding the opposition way down as far as their base hits against him. Look at that, 190 batting average, and he's only walked 4. 16 innings. That's not bad either.
Four solo home runs tonight, one by Gung. Pirates have not led. Trying to get out of here with a split after the Reds won by a single tally on Monday night.
I wonder what kind of an effect Ollendorf's great big long windup would have on Gung's leg kick.
Well, Gung has talked about, you know, the timing is the toughest thing for him right now as he's getting adjusted. It hasn't looked like it very much, but certainly in this time in Indianapolis that was the difficulty. But Ollendorf is unlike pretty much any pitcher out there these days.
Well,
you just pick a spot, right?
Well, it would be fine after you've seen him a couple of pitches, then it's no big deal. But at first,
Gung is safe.
And he'll go to second.
Throw going into the dugout. Error on Cozart after the single.
There you see that leg kick of Gung's. Almost snuck it through. And Cozart did that spin, and it just took the throw up the line with him.
An update from DC. The game is over, and it'll be a tie for Max Scherzer. 20 strikeouts tonight as the Nationals beat the Tigers, tying the major league record. Bunt will work.
Kerry Wood got
Roger Clemens.
How many did Kerry Wood strike out?
20. 1998 and in 86 against the Mariners, Roger Clemens.
High pitch. What I was going to ask is, Kerry Wood was against the Astros. Was Osmus catching them?
That's a very good question. We'll find out.
That would be kind of a coincidence, huh?
Could someone be involved in 2 of the 3 games? Seems like he would been. Infield in here with 1 out as the Pirates try to take their first lead of the night. Mercer hitless in 3 trips. If this is fair, it's a heap of trouble. And there's a base hit. Gung is in to score, and the Pirates have their first lead of the night. Thanks to Jordy Mercer.
Smart hitting there. Get that drawn in infield. That's Stewart going to like this one. Trying to just committed to going the other way so you can lift that ball in the air. And because the ball got in on him and jammed him, it didn't go very far. Kind of like their little base hit they had, remember, with the infield in the very first inning. Just a little dunker that barely got to the outfield grass. In a similar fashion there, the Pirates a little payback.
Pirates' first lead of the night comes in the 9th inning. And Matt Joyce now pinch hitting for Tony Watson. Jordy Mercer, his first hit of the night, RBI number 14. A single, the error, the sacrifice, and then Mercer's bloop base hit. And again, the Reds bullpen, the tying run on the home run by Harrison off Cingrani, and then Ollendorf giving up a run here in the 9th. Matt Joyce, the leading pinch hitter in baseball, in home runs and in RBIs. Tied for second in hits. Jordy Joe Mercer bringing in the go-ahead run here in the ninth. Not over yet. Try to tack on some more here with Joyce, who we've seen not only with Mark Melanson loosening, he'll have the bottom half. But with Joyce, he's not only come through with pinch hits, he's come through with some very pivotal pinch hits. Big home runs. The Pirates with 4 home runs tonight. They're only 4 hits until this inning. And then some little ball helps them get the one that they need the most. And underneath it. And that's out number 2. Let's go to with a game break and Dan Potash. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, that's he had a chance at 21 too. That's incredible. The games that Max Scherzer has pitched in this last 12 months or so, some of the greatest games ever.
He certainly has been an amazing talent. And Brad Ausmus, the Detroit manager, was in that other 20 strikeout game that we were talking about with Kerry Wood.
Mercer's going to move up.
Ausmus struck out twice in that game.
He did his part.
Yep. So he's managed a team that's been struck out 20 times and caught a team that struck out 20 times.
That wild pitch, hoping the Pirates maybe a 2-out hit. Melanson a little cushion. Freeze tonight has already homered.
Yeah, the way this ballpark is, you can certainly add a little insurance to.
Oh, there's no question.
Take the solo home run out of play.
You know, both teams have had their share of home runs here in this ballpark. This is one of the most prolific home run ballparks. That one really got Freeze. Pirates have been hit 5 times tonight, and Ohlendorf's been thrown out of the ballgame. And Brian Price is going to contest it. And since both the manager and pitcher get ejected after the warnings have been placed, Brian Price is going to be out of this game as well. And Jeff Kellogg explaining why. 5 times the Pirates have been hit tonight.
And I've said this before many times. You get to a point where it doesn't matter if it's on accident or not. You know, you just keep
so
getting
many
hit
at this
and
point.
hit and hit. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Okay,
Yeah.
oh, it was an accident. Didn't mean to. Well, who cares? And, you know, find some pitchers that can that can pitch without hitting people. Then, you know, that's the alternative. You can't just stand out there and just everybody they can't bring in just hit people.
Well, these two teams don't meet again until August 5th unless the makeup game is before that with yesterday's rainout. So Ross Ohlendorf ejected, Price ejected. And we'll step aside as the Reds change pitchers here in the ninth. The Pirates with their first lead of the evening. Five-4 lead. Brandon Phillips, one of the many plunked tonight. Both managers have been ejected. A couple players have been ejected as well. And David Freese and Mercer aboard against J.C. Ramirez now.
Hopefully he doesn't plunk anybody. He's a very hard thrower. Great fastball.
Pirates been hit by a pitch 4 times tonight. And that ties team record. Chung Ho Kang, one of the many. Marte hit with a pitch. He's been ejected from the game earlier, back in the 6th. David Freese just got hit. And the Reds have been hit a couple of times tonight. Well, now Ryan Price is still in the dugout. If both benches have been warned and Ohlendorf was thrown out for hitting a batter, then I thought the pitcher, or I mean the manager by rule, also gets ejected. But I guess there's an exception. Jeff Kellogg has kind of tried to feel out how this game has gone, because there's been several hit batters since the warnings.
I always understood that was the rule, and it was years ago. Now maybe it's changed.
Never been told about that, but hey, kudos to Jeff Kellogg. He's just kind of kept the feel of how this game has gone tonight.
It got to the point to where he's like, I can't let it go on anymore.
Yeah,
got to throw somebody out of the game. Yeah, there was only one time tonight where you could really say, okay, somebody got thrown at. We know which one that was, and that was what he came out and gave the warning. But as I said before, at a certain point, it doesn't matter anymore, accident or not. You know, change pitchers, bring somebody in that has enough control that they're not going to hit anybody.
Andrew McCutchen has seen his share of plunkings. Give Kellogg a little reminder, don't hit anybody. 6 total hit batters in this game this evening. And again, these two teams don't meet again until August 5th unless the schedulers decide that they'll play before that because of the rain out yesterday. We'll see if that cools heads at all over a 3-month hiatus after tonight.
I don't think the benches are all that upset.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very particularly chippy.
No, it's just been the Cincinnati pitchers just are wild. They have no control of their pitches. Like I said, I really think that only one guy got hit on purpose, and it was a good purpose pitch.
2 on with 2 outs. McCutcheon has a chance to add to the Pirates' lead. They finally took the lead here in this game in the 9th inning for the first time. After hitting 4 home runs, it still wasn't good enough. All solo shots, but then Jordy Mercer with the big hit. Race to the bag, gets the force. The Pirates get the go-ahead run, setting up Mark Melancon. Here he comes. Into the bottom of the 9th. Trying to get a split here in Cincinnati.
You were right, Joe.
Ryan Price, you've been ejected from this game. You cannot stay in the dugout.
Well, he did.
So Jim Riggleman takes over. So even though he was ejected in the top of the 9th, he didn't leave the dugout to the middle of the 9th, and now for the bottom of the 9th, it's Mark Melancon.
It's 2 base on balls for Mark. His control has been excellent as always. Going for his 10th save.
That's Jim Riggleman on the right. And Dave Joust is the bench coach and the acting manager for the Pirates. Melancon's 3rd opportunity in a 1-run game. 2 for 2. Bruce, Suarez, and Duvall due up for Cincinnati. Toward the corner, and a base hit, and only a base hit with the Pirates playing no doubles.
And that ball really carried out there quite a ways. Polanco, he is Just a couple of steps in front of the warning track. No chance of making that catch.
So Bruce, the tying run. Reds do have some guys on their bench, none of whom are especially speedy. Suarez. And there's one out in the ninth on a good play by Polanco.
Yeah, very nice. Going over into foul territory to make that grab. Had a friendly bullpen there. I'm sure letting him know how close he was getting to that wall. I'm sure they were all saying, plenty of room, plenty of room. You got it. Plenty of room. Oh, watch the wall. They looked back and smiled at him after he threw that ball in.
One out for Adam Duvall. The Reds have their backup catcher Ramon Cabrera. They have Ivan De Jesus, who's probably a tick better runner than Jay Bruce, but still just a fair runner. Polanco very popular.
Getting all the work here in the ninth.
2 quick outs now after the leadoff single. And now Joey Votto will pinch hit for Jordan Pacheco.
They've waited all night for him.
They got their wish. Votto's first night off all season. Has not appeared as a pinch hitter. Lanson trying to lock down save number 10. 5-4 Pirates in the ninth. One up high. Votto 1 for 7 against Melanson lifetime. That one was a home run. Now 2-0. Bruce at first with 2 outs. The Pirates an out away from victory. 2-0 to Votto. 3-0.
Just a little bit downstairs with that cutter.
Tucker Barnhart would follow. Has doubled and tripled tonight.
Took his home run swing on that 3-0 pitch.
You don't see Votto go down to one knee very often.
And this was right down the pipe. No contact.
Cutter moves that last 13 feet.
Now, if you're going to swing 3-0, that's the one you want to swing at. And that was center of the plate, mid-thigh.
Invisible. And again.
2 pitches almost in the same exact spot, right in the middle section of that strike zone.
Choking up there. Just trying to punch that ball. And now the Pirates a strike away from victory.
He is really choking up now, isn't he?
3-2.
Trying to anticipate that cutter coming in. He's not leaving himself much bat to even use. He's choking up so much.
Meaning leaving bat underneath the bottom of his hands.
Yeah,
he tends to choke up about a finger, maybe.
Yeah, he's got about 3 inches now. He wasn't choking up much on that first swing. He was looking to drive the ball out of the ballpark. But since then, he's really tried to cut down his swing and just kind of punch the ball.
Four Pirates in the bottom of the 9th. Jay Bruce is the tying run at first. 3-2 on Joey Votto. Here it is. Ball 4. And now the potential winning run aboard.
Well, now as the outfielder, you have to think about moving in. And now a single could tie the game if you don't give yourself a throw to the plate.
Bruce, an average runner at second.
Not worried about that double now.
Tucker Barnhart has doubled and tripled tonight. Switch hitting catcher. High strike. Barnhart thrust into a starting role with Devin Mesoraco likely gone for the season. His first full big league campaign. 5-4 Pirates in the 9th. 2 outs, 0-1. Strike 2.
Ooh, nice curveball. I think that's the first one he's thrown this inning. That was a beauty.
And now a strike away from victory. Oh, 2 from Melanson.
Pretty frustrating for a left-hand hitter to constantly be trying to fight that ball off his hands.
Melanson's so good against lefties last year, limiting them to just 138. Two on for the Reds. Pirates up a run in the 9th. 2 outs. 0-2. He struck him out. And Mark Melanson comes on to earn save number 10. And the Pirates get out of here with a split thanks to Jordy Mercer's big hit in the 9th.
And don't forget that J-Hay home run after coming in the ball game late. That was huge. A lot of big stuff going on tonight. It really was a nice well fought game. He only got 6 base hits, but nothing of them certainly went over the fence.
4 home runs for the Pirates tonight.
Nice pitching all around too. The whole deal was well played.
Hughes, Watson, and Melanson scoreless relief. And the Pirates go to 18-15. Let's go back to the studios with Dan and Teague.